Alright, and welcome to another installment of Introduction to Philosophy. We're going to be talking about Aristotle now. This is going to be about Aristotle's Metaphysics, just a general overview of Aristotelian metaphysics, and just kind of a little overview about that, and sort of to discuss a couple different things. I'll probably do another when it comes to Aristotle. We'll probably do a video about his ethics. Then we'll probably move on beyond him. So basically, when it comes to his metaphysics, we have the idea of what a first philosophy is, and the first philosophy is what he calls the study of being qua being, and not being in the view of anything other than just being itself. So it's about wisdom, and to deal with first causes and stuff like that, and with the principle of things, and that all points to the idea of a first philosophy, and things which are general or abstract. A first philosophy is just about the being of everything from which everything else flows. I guess just to get at the very root of everything itself. And I guess, if you think about being, you can, if you have read Heidegger, which is a philosopher, which we will talk about it in some detail, but not a whole lot in the future in this course. They do have some similarities in that they both talk about being. And what does it mean to have a first philosophy which is about being qua being? The word qua means insofar as, or via. So being insofar as being, or substance, the very most fundamental way of thinking about this world, and that's being itself, and that's what first philosophy is about. So, and these issues of first philosophy, they're fundamental at the highest level of generality, and they are better known in themselves rather than better known to us. It kind of has this little distinction of better known in themselves versus better known to us. Better known to us meaning it's more perceptible, more something that we can perceive. However, the idea of substance is a thing in metaphysics. Substance is the very bare bones of this world. The bare bones of metaphysics of this world. Substance is the very most fundamental thing of this world, and all other kind of things build off of substance, or in Greek, ousia. So what is better known in themselves is substance and is being, and substance plays into that a lot. So basically, this is remote from realm of expanse, or things are better known to us. It's better known. It's substance, and what is about being and about first philosophy. It's kind of really far away from the realm of things that are better known to us. So it's similar to the distinction of a priori or a posteriori, and a priori meaning prior to knowledge. However, we're talking about things in more of a metaphysical, fundamental state, rather than whether it's known to us or not. So he has categories. Aristotle has categories in the same way that Kant has categories. Kant's categories are a little more complex, and we will also get into those. He has categories like quality, quantity, relation, and substance. Substance, or ousia, has a privileged position of all the categories, and all the other categories built off of substance, and everything depends on it. And that's just and substance is basically the main thing that we're trying to discuss here when we're talking about trying to study being insofar as being, substance is what we're going to really be studying. So for Aristotle, what is the central question of metaphysics? It's what is being. What does it mean for something to be? What is the thinghood of things? What is a thing? And the main question is the integrity of a world as a world and of anything in it, which endures as itself for any time at all, is not self-explanatory. It's something to inquire into and is cause. So he has a philosophy of causation too, where there is a first cause of things, and as to how everything is caused and maintains causation. And pretty much Aristotle's philosophy, Aristotle's Metaphysics is a book. It's a book that he wrote, which is pretty long, and I plan on doing videos about, like from book to book inside of that book, doing videos on that and getting more in depth with it. So I think I'll probably try and do that at some point. So that, this is a intro course, and I don't want this to be an in-depth analysis of anything. I want this to be a small little going over of something. It's about that. And next thing is the third man argument, and that's as to the forms of Plato, and it's kind of like a issue that Aristotle points out as to Plato's forms. And Aristotle does have a form, however, it's not in the same way that Plato had, and I'll explain that in a minute. And that's what is called a hylomorphism, but it wasn't called that in his day. It's kind of, the word hylomorphism is sort of a more recent word in metaphysics. So the third main argument is where we have two men, where we have form and we have matter. Matter is as to how things is the pure potentiality, and form is pure actuality, and I'll explain actuality and potentiality also. And basically, thinghood has to do with non-living and living. It's an organized unity. And like how a body, there's flesh and blood, bones, that's thinghood, pure potentiality. And a form is pure actuality. It's the matter in a certain action, and matter is, if I was like a empty vessel and I was not present in my own body, I'd be flesh and bone and I'd be matter, but I'd have a potentiality of being alive and doing things. So that's kind of what that is. So the third man argument is this. You have two men, and one man is the matter, one man is the form. So we need a form to organize humanness. So we have matter, which is the flesh and bone, blood, etc., and we have the form of man. So we need a form to organize humanness. Thus we have the form of humanness, which is like a more fundamental form of the form of being a man, and that is the third man. And thus we need a new form of humanness to account for this form of humanness. Thus we have the form of superhumanness. And it goes back ad infinitum to where basically you have a form of super duper humanness to explain the form of superhumanness. And that goes back and back and back. And that you have this problem as to where does the humanness of the first form of humanness come from? And thus, even from super duper humanness, where does that, the form of super duper humanness come from? We have to have some sort of, in Plato thinks of his form as being in the Plato as in his heavens, and the matter, the instantiation of things being very apart from the actual forms, where Aristotle kind of thinks of them as potentiality and actuality. And what does that mean? Potentiality, my body being pure potentiality, would be my body in rest. Or I mean, let's say I was a empty vessel, or let's talk about this use of this here lighter. This is currently at potentiality. It's not doing anything right now, but it has the pure potence of doing something. And this is the lighter in actuality, in that it's doing what it's designed to do. And pure actuality is that, just that. So that is, and understanding form and matter, this little hylomorphism, in terms of that, kind of solves. It doesn't really solve things entirely, but it makes things a little easier to deal with, I guess. I don't know how to explain that, but and last thing I want to talk about when it comes to Aristotelian metaphysics is the idea of the self or the soul, which is his word of nous, N-O-U-S, and the self or the soul is a light, and it is naturally existing. He has sort of a naturalistic philosophy, which I'll not really get into too much. It is a naturally existing light, and it's non-form and non-matter. It's infinitely existing and always existing. And when perception of us occurs, the light lights up, and it receives the form of and when it perceives something, that's it receiving the form of a certain something. And nous is pure actuality, and knowledge, according to Aristotle, is not recollection, as Plato stated in his Meno. It's developing. It's developing some kind of knowing things through data, and that's having true judgment, and passive power of nous can potentially become everything, and that's senses, the ability of that we as a self have the ability to sense things. That's the pure potence of that we have. So the soul is a pure actuality that can take something from being potentially X to actually X. So that's a bit about that. So about Aristotle's metaphysics. If you think I should have included something here or explained something better, or if you have any questions, comment below, and I will definitely include more. I'll definitely do another segment on his metaphysics or about a certain thing. So again, comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I will see you in the next segment of Intro to Philosophy. Oops.